welcome to the Random Engineer plays the Guild 2 Renaissance. We'll be playing with Fajeth's MegaModPack for this Let's Play, which for those who are unfamiliar are a set of community bug fixes, rebalances, and several handy add-ons, like an actual functioning AI for managing your shops. If you're interested in picking up the mod, I'll leave a link in the video description for the Steam community post where you can learn more about it. So let's get started. We'll be playing the cities of Lyon, Macon, and Belay. For this Let's Play, we'll change this to 1 year per round and 1 council meeting per turn. Effectively what that means is that the game will take a little bit longer, but your character will last a little bit longer. I think they have probably about until their 70s before they, naturally expire, if you want to call it that. But the game mode that we'll be playing on is Extinction, which effectively means that we have to eliminate the other 10 dynasties from the map, which we can do that either by outlasting them or exercising more creative means. We'll be playing on the hard difficulty, which really doesn't mean anything aside from we get less starting money, and we'll use this as our shield, because I think that'll probably be pretty easy to recognize. The random engineer that we'll be playing with is Leonardo da Vinci, which he is probably one of the more famous engineers throughout history. I think he's actually considered a polymath, which would put him among the likes of Benjamin Franklin, where he was an all-round kind of inventor, artist, writer, that sort of thing. A true Renaissance man. And I think he's particularly appropriate for the setting of this game. We'll use the Scholar class in honor of him, and there's 4 different classes that you can choose from: Patron, Craftsman, Scholar, and Rogue. Patron are your resource gatherers and your farmers. They create, they mine, they do all the low-level things, which I think gives you easy access to income at the beginning of the round, but it kind of limits you in the long term of your income potential, which isn't the worst thing, because in this game you can get married and you can expand your dynasty across several different classes, which if you compare it with other characters, you can effectively create a entirely closed loop supply system for your dynasty. Craftsmen, self-explanatory, you just make things. Scholars tend to be your more intellectual based professions like bankers, doctors, and priests. And rogues are the most variable, but they can be the most fun, because that involves, pillaging, robbery, marauding, mercenary work, that sort of thing. As far as zodiac sign, I think the best one for the Scholar class is the Taurus, which gives you +1 rhetoric. And as far as all the talents, they do have a strong impact on your character later on in the game. However, I think the most important, at least from what I've seen, is rhetoric, because that gives you the ability to withstand criminal prosecution, political meetings. You can bribe people better. I mean, it's a useful skill, and it tends to be the one that I go for first. So let's jump into the character creation. That all looks fine. So let's start the game.
Eliminate your competitors.
Alright, let's have a look around and see if we can find any other Scholar class buildings here in Lyon. This whole city here is Lyon. I think this over here is Belay. Or no, this is Macon over here. And then this over here would be Belay. Yeah. So let's have a look over here and see if we can find any Scholar class buildings. Those would be pest houses, money lenders, alchemist workshops, tinctures, that sort of thing. So here's a magician's shop and a church. I don't see anything else though, so that's good. What I immediately notice is that there's no pest house, which is like the beginning stage of a hospital. So I think that's what we'll place first. We'll try and beat out the competition. And I think we'll put it right here, because this is the market of Belay, or of Lyon, sorry. And that's going to be really important, because we're going to have to go to the market to get some of our supplies for
Here I am.
our pest house. Like making bandages will require flax and lavender, and we can gather lavender from the map, but flax, I think, at least initially, we're going to have to purchase it from the market. So we're just going to go ahead and fast forward here until Pest House is finished. You'll notice I selected Leo, and I'm sending him over to...
A new building.
And there we go.
In Vino Veritas. What is it?
We'll send him into the Pest House, and you can go into the building like this just by double-clicking on it. And here is our first employee, Jean Harve. I think that's probably how you pronounce her name. But she's a barber surgeon, which is level 1 in this game. So we'll go into production storeroom and we'll tell her to start making bandages. And we'll have Leonardo start helping. Oh, we already got one customer. Look at that.
In Vino Veritas.
So we'll put...
Variatio delectat.
Or not. Bye-bye. Alright. So I'll just put Leonardo on administering medical treatments, which basically means that anyone who comes into the pest house seeking medical treatment will go to him, and he'll gain an experience boost for every person he helps, which is definitely going to be helpful, at least at the beginning, because I'm really thinking about leveling up his rhetoric and his bargaining and his arcane knowledge as quickly as possible, because those are all the skills that are immediately beneficial to scholar class characters. So at least at the beginning of the game, I'm going to fast forward here just so we can kind of get through the... That's not good. There you go. See, rhetorically gifted healers can sell some soap to their patients after treatment, which is a nice little after the fact income. Let's have a look at the politics here in Lyon. And yeah, at the early game, there's not going to be a whole lot. There's no one really applied for office. There's no one really around yet. It becomes very important to try and get your foot in the door, politics-wise, early in the game, because if you wait, other dynasties will move their way into the political ladder, and if you get 3 people from the same family, they can effectively dictate who gets elected to all the other subordinating positions. I played one game where the mayor, the magistrate, and the colonel, which I think turns into the marshal when the city levels up, but we're all 3 of them were from the same dynasty, and no matter what, I could not get above a seneschal or an inquisitor's level because they kept choking me out. And see, here's another good reason to level up arcane knowledge. It raises the duration and reduces the cooldown for using artifacts by 5% per point. Employees of the scholar class use arcane knowledge skill of their boss instead of handicrafts to raise their productivity. Every point adds 10%. So just from that, we can boost the productivity of our scholar class buildings by quite a bit. And that's also not taking into account improvements that we can make at the building level. So here's a waiting bench. We can use this to improve our attractiveness to customers, which will basically draw more people in. And we can also use this healing water spray, which will increase the productivity of the business by 20% as well. So just those two things, we can significantly change the effective look of fire. Fires are, pretty devastating in this game. They can get to a point where they can spread to all the neighboring buildings, and I've had buildings burned down a couple times just because, a worker's cottage or a, smithy or something like that caught on fire next to it, and everybody was busy trying to put out the other fires, and my building burned down, which at the early stage of the game, that can be devastating. You don't have enough money to really build anything, and your dynasty is just going to die out. You'll probably have to stand on the street and beg or quick solve or something like that to make some capital. Alright, so we're at the end of the first day, and we've doubled our starting income. So we'll go into the pest house, we'll add another worker, and we'll buy some of these other upgrades while we're at it. We'll go to production storage, and it looks like we've exhausted all of our resources, our flax and our lavender that we were using to make bandages. But we do have 42 bandages here, which should be plenty for a while. We'll take Leo, and we'll send him over to the Council Palace of Lyon. We'll see if we can't buy him a new title. Right now we're a commoner, and the next level I believe is going to be yeoman. Go over there. Alright. Purchase the title. The next level will be yeoman, and
someone has spoken to you.
A new title of
but
nobility.
of course. We'll send him back to the pest house, and just like that, we've used up all our money. But we've paid for our salaries for the day, and we shouldn't really have a problem being cash flow positive since we are the only pest house here in Lyon. And just like that, we are now yeomen.
Congratulations. The council, whose wisdom knows no bounds, has decided to award you a new title.
Well, that's nice. We are not guildmaster yet. Sylvie Lamotte is the guildmaster currently in Lyon. That's in Belay. It has no effect on us right now. But let's jump into the building here, into our pest house, I mean. And here's Jean. We did... Oh, sorry. We still need to hire someone. Yeah, I forgot. You can set the building to manage itself by going into the Manage Building setting here, or menu here, I mean, and then selecting AI, but at least for the beginning of the game, I think we'll probably just do it ourselves. So in here, I'm looking at potential candidates to employ, and this one's a craftsman. We want to look for a scholar, because they'll have the most in common with what we're looking for, and I think it also affects the rate at which they level up. So we're not going to hire her, but we're going to keep looking. Craftsman, no. A little bit of a pause. Maybe saving? Rogue, no. Scholar, there we go. We will hire. Unable to hire her. She must have gotten hired. There we go. We'll hire her. So, we just hired Chantal Delavoye? Maybe? Not sure how you'd pronounce that. We'll wait for... And there she is. I was going to say we'll wait for her to come to the pest house, but here she is. Prompt as ever. We'll send her out to get lavender though, which you can go to here to gather herbs, and then you can look on the map. This is our pest house right here, so we're looking for something that's going to be close enough to us that she's not going to have to go very far to find it. And we've got one lavender here, and we've got one lavender here. I think this one might be the closest one. So we'll send her to go gather some lavender from there. These two yellow dots here, these are our employee. There we go. These are our employees right here. Oh. Maybe not. Maybe those are just workers. Maybe. I'm not sure. I think they get color-coded based on your dynasty. But then I think the game also highlights your workers as yellow. Uh-oh. War begins.
The sales tax has been changed.
This is a random event that occasionally happens where the King of France will start to wage war on someone. When he does that, it's a good chance to garner... Oops. It's a good chance to garner imperial favor, which you do end up needing later on in the game if you decide to go for like a noble or a title of nobility, or I think if you try to go for whatever the level is after patrician.
Sentencing has been changed.
So let's clear some of these notifications. Production's been interrupted. Will be war, fire. Okay, nothing really exciting yet. Let's go ahead and fast forward again, just see if we can get through some of this stuff. We do need a minimum amount of cash on hand just so we can pay our salaries, which are 216 per turn, and we've got 816, so we should be fine. Yeah, so it took the 216 out of our account. Oh no. Hear ye, hear ye. Let it be known that we, the King of Spain, have crushed the enemy to the Kingdom of France. The Kingdom of France has lost our war. I don't think that really has any effect on us, necessarily, but if we had supported troops and they had gone to the war, then we would have lost those troops and our quote-unquote investment would have been lost, which is a really cynical way to think about people, but, you know, such was the nature of the game back then, I guess. I think we'll wait one more day and then we'll start looking for a wife. I think we'll have enough that we'll be able to Austin Bijou. Let's see if we can find him. Enemies. Not an enemy yet.
A dynasty mourns.
Bijou. Augustin Bijou. Scholar. Here he is. We shall have to retaliate. But alrighty guys, that is about time. We're just over 15 minutes now. So when we come back, I think we'll start looking for a wife, and we'll also come up with a way that we can gain some retaliation on that Augustin Bijou. So, like and favorite the video. This was my first Let's Play. If you have any comments or criticisms, go ahead and leave them in the comments. I am looking for feedback. If you guys like this style of Let's Play or you want something to be different, just let me know and I'll see what I can do. But yeah, have a good day.